Hello friends, today we will discuss about endospores. So, what is this endospores? As the word suggests, endo means inside. That is, a spore is developed inside a bacterial cell. That is, within a vegetative cell. So, these are the spores that are tough, dormant, at the same time resistant spores. So they are produced only in some bacteria, that is, the gram-positive bacteria of Firmicutes family. And they are produced during the unfavorable environmental condition. In this diagram, the green color is the endospore, whereas the entire pink color is the vegetative cell. So, an endospore is present within a vegetative cell. These endospores also help in dispersion, whether it is a dispersion through water, or wind, or even through a gut of an animal. These endospores help in the dispersion. The most studied organisms belong to the category of Bacillus and Clostridium. The Bacillus develop the endospores when the carbon or nitrogen is limited. So, under a condition where the carbon or nitrogen get limited, the endospore formation occurs. These endospores was discovered first by John Tyndall, and he was a physicist in the 19th century. He discovered these endospores as heat-resistant spores, and he also developed a mechanism to kill the bacterial endospores, and this method is called Tyndallization. So the endospores are structurally, metabolically, and even functionally very different from the bacterial vegetative cell. So these endospores are entirely different structure apart from the vegetative cell. A bacterial cell has two types of spores, that is, endospore and exospore. As the word suggests, endospore means it is present within a cell, whereas the exospore means it is present outside the cell. An important characteristic of an endospore is that these endospores are highly resistant to any kind of stressful environment, whether it's high heat, UV radiation, gamma radiation, chemical disinfectants, or desiccation. These are highly resistant. Another important characteristic of an endospore is that they can live for long periods. They can even live up to 10,000 or even more years. So these endospores have a long viability. So due to the long viability as well as the adaptation to high stressful conditions, these endospores are known as notorious pathogens. The general techniques that are used to kill a bacteria cannot be used in killing a bacterial endospores, that is, wiping with alcohol or hydrogen peroxide or even boiling at a temperature of 100 degrees Celsius cannot kill these bacterial endospores. But other techniques like autoclaving can kill endospores. These endospores can be visualized under light as well as electron microscopes. So these endospores does not take the stains like safranin, that is the stain which is used in gram staining, and hence other staining techniques are being used for endospore stainings. So more about the endospore staining will be discussed in another video. So these endospores can be produced by both aerobic as well as anaerobic bacteria, that is of a gram-positive type. So only bacteria of gram-positive, that is aerobic or anaerobic gram-positive bacteria produces an endospores, and no archaebacteria can produce endospore. The position of endospores also varies within a bacterial cell. So based on the position of the endospores, they are classified into central spore, subterminal spore, terminal spore, or terminal spore with swollen sporangium. In this diagram, the three main types of endospore positions are being shown. First is the central endospore. It is present at the central position. Second is the terminal endospore. These endospores are present towards the terminal end. Last is the subterminal position, and these are the endospores which are present not in the center, not in the terminal. It is in between these two. So hence these are subterminal endospores. So based on the position, we can mainly classify an endospore into three types. It is central, terminal, and subterminal. So based on the shape of an endospore, we can divide it into three types, that is elliptical, spherical, and ovoid. Now let us discuss the structure of endospores. So the structure of endospore is very complex since they have a multi-layered covering. So the outermost layer is called the exosporium, and this layer is relatively thin and delicate. So beneath this exosporium is the spore coat. So this spore coat is composed of several layers of proteins. So this spore coat is comparatively a thick layer, and due to the thickness of the spore coat is a reason to the high resistance of the endospores towards heat, radiation as well as chemicals. So the outer layer is thin, whereas the spore coat is comparatively thick. So inner to the spore coat is the cortex. So the outer layer is exosporangium, and inner to the exosporangium is the spore coat, and inner to the spore coat is the cortex. So this cortex is made up of a thicker wall layer, and this is made up of peptidoglycan. So the peptidoglycan is less cross-linked in the spore, whereas it is in the vegetative cell. So this cortex occupies half the volume of the spore in some cases. So the innermost layer of a spore is the spore cell wall or the core cell wall. So this spore cell wall covers the central protoplast. So this endospore core has a normal cell structure like that of a vegetative cell. And in this core region, the ribosomes are present, and centered to this region is their genetic material, which is the nucleoid. So the protoplast in this region is inactive. That is, unlike the vegetative cell, the protoplast of a spore is inactive, and this consists only 10 to 25% of water to that of a vegetative cell. This is the structure of a spore. A spore is complex in its structure, and this is due to the multiple layers it has. The outermost layer of a spore is often known as outer membrane or the exosporangium, and inner to the exosporangium is the coat, that is the spore coat, and inner to the spore coat is the cortex. So inner to the cortex is the germ cell wall or the spore cell wall or the core cell wall. It is often known in these three names, and inner to it is the inner membrane. So the inner membrane occupies a space, and this space is called the core, and the core region has the protoplast in it, and this region has ribosomes as well as a nucleoid, and this nucleoid is often centrally located, and this nucleoid is the genetic material of the spore. So this is the structure of a spore. It is multi-layered and it has a core region. So an endospore is made up of 4 to 5 layers, and this makes an endospore complex. Hope you understood the concept of endospore and the structure of endospore. For more such videos, do subscribe to our channel. And if you like the video, please like as well as share with your friends.